So I called and said, listen, this isn't going to work. I'm not seeing the vision.
Welcome back, Pack. This is Adbeel from WolfSteel Buildings, and we're here with Ernesto. Welcome to the channel.
Hey man, thank you. I'm glad to be back.
So we're out here on a Sunday. It's a field trip south of Fredericksburg in Kerrville, Texas. And it feels great right now because I know it's starting to get a little chilly already. This is already in November, so it's starting to feel a little chilly. I even got the contractor shirt on.
Got the gear on.
Ernesto is our sales director. Ernesto, how does it feel now? How's that role been going for you?
No, it's been great. It's been a smooth transition. Honestly, it's been one of the best things that could happen, especially with a company like this, man. It's honestly been nothing but good things. So definitely excited to be here, be on the channel, talk a little bit about this project for sure.
Because you sold this project.
I sure did.
And he was so excited to come and check it out for this walkthrough. Like, yeah, come out. We're going on a Sunday. Let's make this happen. Yeah.
No, and then again, like Adbeel said, I mean, we're out here because we really want to be. When you love what you do, it never feels like work.
That's exactly it. Even the concreting pre-pour inspection, I came out here on a Sunday. Actually came out with my dog. It was just fun. But anyways, guys, let's get straight to business. This is a spectacular building. Talk to me, Ernesto. What did you like about this project?
Honestly, the through and through initial process was the best. Those initial contact points with the customer, the calls, the emails, the text, it was just taking his vision. All he did was give me some square footage and we started to go from there. He literally said, I want 4,000 square feet. And then we started coming up with an idea together. And then it's like what you see on our architectural plans is literally what came up to life.
That's amazing. What I liked is the inside, guys. It's got black paint with fiberglass insulation. Is spectacular, so stay tuned. As well as this color combination is unique, not very common, but the burnished slate is starting to become very popular here in Texas. So that is also something spectacular. And I know our hook, Eric, made it very controversial, but yes, we actually had an issue come up and we're gonna talk about it as we do the walkthrough. So stay tuned for that. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe because we got a lot of cool projects like this. Let's get this one going. Alrighty guys, before we go ahead and talk about the building, which we do a lot, I want to talk about the timelines, the time it takes to build something like this. This is a weld-up building, so it's very custom. There's a lot of planning that gets involved. But one of the things I want to talk about, and actually I want to show in the screen, is our timeline. This is how we work, okay? So if you're seeing the timeline, we break apart every section from permitting, site prep, processing, concrete, building, and then accessories. So we're very transparent up front from the beginning. That's a commitment from us to meet those deadlines to build for, you know, for our clients. How did that work with our client? Were we on track?
Yeah, I mean, no, everything was actually phenomenal, and that's the importance behind the time frames for each department, right? Because each department is going to communicate with the client just to ensure that the process goes smoothly, because they're in control of that specific department. So this customer actually got started, I think everything got started around mid-August. I think August 16th, if I'm not mistaken. And the process was seamless. Now, one thing about the process, though, is that this customer was actually transitioning from California to Texas. And he did ask because he wanted to be part of the process. He actually started as a viewer. He started as a viewer,
Yeah.
fell in love with our videos, and he's like, honestly, I'd love nothing more than to be part of the process. I know I'm gonna have to be traveling back and forth. Can you make certain things work? Whether that was concrete, whether that was building, he wanted to be part of that process just to experience it, just like how he saw in the video. So we made sure to kind of, work with him on that.
I forgot to mention, guys, we actually have an interview with him, so stay tuned, because that video or that segment, depends how we figure this out, is going to be coming up, and he's going to speak about his experience. So I'm going to give you a little bit more of a customer perspective, not just a salesman and someone that's on YouTube, a YouTuber perspective. But that is the timelines that we actually have, and I love them because it just keeps everybody accountable, especially in our team. Like, okay, we're on track, we're not on track, and if we fall behind, we immediately try to make up ground on the other departments, or we talk about it. Hey, it's just been raining, especially like in April, May. Those are the rainy seasons of the year. I mean, you can't get dirt out of the supplies, or like the pits that they call them, or you got to let it dry before you can even carry it and drop it off to be able to do some site prep. So that is something to keep in mind with timelines in construction. There's a lot of varying factors, but for us, we're pretty kind of better at it. We're pretty good at it. Now, talking about site prep, that's another thing I want to talk about. So especially when you have something this long, this is 100 feet long, okay? So if you can see on the property from a drone shots, over here on my right side is where we have a higher elevation. And then over on this side, we have a very low elevation. So just from standing on that side, which you're gonna see on our drone shots, we have about 3 to 4 feet.
It's quite a bit.
Quite a bit,
and that's just due to the length of the building as well. Keep in mind, and we'll talk a little bit more about the building, but this building is 100 feet long. So it starts from that back corner, but then it actually starts going to literally the opposite corner. Now that's a big difference when you actually start to add it up. So we needed a lot of dirt. I'm not sure how many
15 loads of base, or probably a little bit more if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, now, since this is 100 feet long, right? Now, if you're building like a 40 by 50, 40 by 60, maybe a 30 by 40, 30 by 50, which are some of the most common sizes, we would have been like right here. And you can see here, if he would have built that, it would have been probably maybe 2 loads, so 2 to 3 or 4 loads of base. So do keep in mind your property when you're looking at it and you're about to build. I mean, if you have laser and you understand construction, or you have a construction buddy and they have a laser, you can kind of stake it out and you can see, and that will tell you for site prep. Because when you call us, we'll give you the building and the concrete price.
That's right.
But we can't give the site prep.
It's always different. It's close to impossible to do something like that, but we also want to favor the client by being able to actually make those measurements, because you want to make sure you get what's needed, because it could be as little or it could be as a lot as it possibly can be. For example, this, right? It goes back to what Eric says, does size matter? It absolutely does. So that was one of the biggest things.
No, and it does, because you can see here, and that's what makes this project spectacular. So let's go talk on this side, because we're going to start talking about measurements and colors, which are very important things that we got to talk about, and then we'll start talking about the features of this project. Yeah, so I came out here to inspect the site, and you'll probably see some clips of me talking. So if you're looking at your forms, especially if you're one of our clients, the form right here, in this case here, this is where the slab is going to end, especially because this is about 1.5 inches for the brick ledge. So this is the actual finished floor of the main foundation, and then up here is where it's going to land from that form to under here. Okay, so that's how we're sloping it, because we're giving it to be able to enter, and also for water to go out. Another thing that I check is how well was this base compacted, and it's very solid. So that's really important to really minimize cracking on your slabs. If it settles later on, then that's where you tend to see a little bit more of cracking that happens. We do have internal beams, so whenever we quote and we say we got cross internal beams, that's what we have whenever it's a metal building that's pretty large and like this size, especially with red iron. We run them along the same length as the spacing of the beams. So there's going to be a beam here, or I-beam here, and you can see here we got, you know, basically every 20 feet. So as I did this inspection, obviously I checked the rebar size. We got number 3, 18 inches on each way. What that means is the rebar is basically 3/8 thick for the slab, and then for the foundation, it's a 1/2 inch, which is number 4. Inspecting that, but the biggest thing also that I inspect is also the doors. Okay, so the notching, and it is pretty accurate. But I hope I gave some value on that. So, alrighty, Pac. So, Ernesto, talk to me. What size are we looking at as in dimensions?
Okay. The beauty of this building is that it's a 40 wide by 100 long by 16 foot to the eaves. And then on the lean-to here, you have a 10 wide, 25 long, and it actually go ahead and it's a step down from about a 12 foot tall to about 10 foot tall on the low side of the lean-to.
Yeah, let me confirm your numbers. So you said 40 and 100
Yes.
and 15 or 16?
16.
Good job. Yeah, I thought you said 15, so my bad there. No, everything looks good. And then we got the 2-foot overhang all the way around. Now, that makes the building spectacular, right?
It does, it does. It's the attention to detail not only behind doing the 2-foot overhang, but what you'll see is the underside of that, it's covered with the soffit. That part right there aesthetically makes the building look completely different.
Different than most, just a box where like the, you know, it's just that. But obviously that comes with a lot of extra detail, a lot of craftsmanship, a lot of extra labor. It's not just the extra labor, but it's also like you got to take your time because you got to align the panels, and then you got a lot of fitting that you got to be doing to make this all work. So that is correct. That, man, that's just spectacular. I know we did a project recently here in Canyon Lake, and that also had a very spectacular 2-foot overhang. Now for colors, we got charcoal roof, we got black for all the trims, the soffit's black, and then we got the burnished slate. Burnished slate, man, I say burnished slate is like a brown and gray had a baby together. It's just kind of that kind of of a mix, because it's not a full-blown brown, but it's, I don't know, I love this color. What do you think, Ernesto?
That color, honestly, that's actually my favorite color personally. And then whenever it mixes and matches with either black, white, or even like that light stone color,
Ash gray.
yes, it stands out amazing. So that was one of the biggest things that I really like whenever that we were talking about colors. He wanted this. This is what he envisioned. Pretty much after we were done with it, he's like, this is exactly what I wanted.
And
So
Ernesto, I'd like to mention, you said your client was out of state. Did you send him some color samples?
yes, yeah, we did. We sent him, so pretty much even colors that he was thinking about getting, we went ahead and just got some chips, send them over to him. That way he can look at them. And then the actual overhead doors, that's what we'll get into a little bit. But those, we had the samples in the office. I actually went ahead and took a picture. That way he can kind of see how it offsets a little bit more, because that's one thing about the overhead doors. You could either have them painted, because you can never fully say that they're going to color match the actual panel itself.
And then aside from that, we have our simulator too, right?
That's right. Yeah.
In our architectural plans, it would be cool to show it and show some of the drone pictures and how it's exactly how we planned it all out. That's exactly what he's seeing. So if you can show that, that would be amazing. Alrighty, let's walk up to this lean-to. Again, you said this is 10 wide, right? And this is coming off of the side.
Yes. So this is what's considered a step down, right?
A step down.
It could either continue, a continuous lean-to is pretty much going to flow along the roof line, but this is a step down where, again, it was a 16-foot leg. It steps down 2 feet. So it starts at about 14 to 12, if I'm not mistaken.
So the high point here, you have it at 12. and the
12
low
to
side
10. That's right, 12 to 10.
12 to 10, that's
Again,
correct.
this was back in August.
So many projects. that-
Cut him some slack. So again, we use base material out here and down south towards San Antonio and Austin, and you can feel like it compacts very, very well.
Oh yeah.
Lean-tos are extremely common for metal buildings because this is a way to kind of just chill. Here I can just kind of chill and really get the view. You can also cook out here. Also, if you watch some of our videos, some clients also use it to park their ATVs, and that way they're not really keeping it in there all the time. You know, there's many, many uses for a lean-to. What has your experience been?
It's a porch, it's an aesthetic, honestly, it's just a nice addition to a metal building, right? You can have a 40 by 100 by 16, but then when you add something like this, completely different look to a building, right?
It's not just a box.
Yeah, it's not just a box per se, but yeah, a lean-to just gives it that look that just makes it look a lot different than most.
Now, let's talk about what the controversial situation happened. So, while we were in the process with our client, you know, he did mention that he was going to get brick done, okay? So there's many different ways to do your brick, but this is definitely the better way to do it, to be able to flash it and prepare it for it. So since he's doing his own brick, we didn't get this flashing that you can see here, which is about 5 inches, it's about 5 inches, 5 inches and a half, where any water that's coming here will be redirected and away. Because once the brick is set here, if we didn't have this flashing, the water could go through the back. I mean, at the end of the day, as long as you do weep holes, you know, water will find its way out, right? But this is just a better way. This is a more planned way. And we worked it out with our client. He did mention, hey, like, I'm going to be doing that. And then that's when we came to agreement. You know what? Let's put a stop to the project. And then we called our supplier and they're like, hey, get us some flashing and let's get this, you know, make it happen for him.
So we went back to the drawing board.
And that's where we planned it, because he's going to be doing brick all the way around. That's why you see like a wainscot detail, and they're still the same color, but it's because the brick is definitely going to be in the front.
Yeah.
We'll be coming back in around May.
Yeah,
June
yeah.
To do
Yeah, he wants us to come back and do it. And I told him, yeah, absolutely. This is spectacular. Like, I love just hanging out here. We've been here for about an hour.
Jose behind you.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, sorry, Jose.
Taking a little siesta.
No, but that's the beauty of, again, the time frames, right? Where you see each department. So in our building department, that's one thing that just got reiterated in regards to the brick, right? Because we already had the concrete prep for it. Where the footing is actually a little bit bigger that you'll see there.
That's why we made it a little bit bigger, because, you know, he's going to be setting this brick all along here. So that's why it was made bigger. So as far as the flashing, I mean, it just depends how you're going to do your brick. And and that's where, you know, we failed in our communication, or really kind of working with our client there. So, but I'm glad that we caught it. So
Yeah.
Another feature about this lean-to, guys, is that the frames are painted as well.
Yes.
yeah, it's spectacular. Not just the frame, because it's obviously exterior. It also gives you an extra rust protection. But definitely like a more spectacular, something different than just red iron, because red iron is red, right? It's just got the red oxide, which you can see some of our parts over there. But the black, or painting it any other color, makes a metal building stand out.
Yeah, it's one thing to have it on the lean-to, the exposed part, the aesthetic behind what people see on the outside. But this particular customer said, you know what? I have a couple wants that I feel like I could still kind of fit in here. And so again, with the building team, it was just an addition that he just went for it. And what you'll see is definitely some cool shots of the inside, because you have the insulation, which is our fiberglass, but the black paint, amazing, makes the inside completely different.
I love it. It's my favorite. It's just my favorite. Just having, the black with the white. I know we've done it before on another project, but I don't know with fiberglass, but it's beautiful if you do painted color. It is a little bit of a price. Again, the painting has to be done very well. So it takes a little bit more time and
Oh, yeah.
craftsmanship as well. So it's just all custom.
And speaking of craftsmanship, look at all those foam cap enclosures underneath the trim.
It's perfect.
Those custom boxes for those receiving channels and the purlins coming out. Very excellent work.
Yeah. it's
Show them the
definitely-
B-roll of all this. I mean, this was a 3 to 4 week process, 3 to 4 week time frame. I mean, we literally took our time to really go make sure that our client was really, really happy. All right, Ernesto, we got 4 overhead doors. This is a shop, man. Talk to me. What sizes do we have?
So with this customer, he wanted a couple options. Like I said, this was a process that kept growing and growing and growing. Like I said, in his words, he said he had a wish list and he just started chipping away at that list little by little. For one,
Speaking of wish list, Ernesto, this video it's going to be posted during Christmas week.
oh,
So all you guys watching at home, if you want to give a wish list to your wife,
there you
well,
go.
here's a sign.
No, there you go.
There you go. That's a good one.
So with these doors, he went ahead and for one, they are the steel back insulated doors. They're the short panel style. Now you have 2 10 wides, 10 talls, and then after that, the next one, it's a 12 wide, or I'm sorry, it's a 10 wide by 12 tall. Now he just wanted those 2 extra feet just in case, I'd say. And then that last one is a 12 wide by 14 tall, which is very common for an RV. So if you have that Class A that's got the AC unit up top, typically you need to clear about a 13-foot 6-inch clearance. That's the door for you. So that's the biggest thing here. Now in regards to color, this is our bronze color, right? So burnished slate, bronze is typically the color that goes in reference to wanting to color match. Now one thing about it, you have 2 different suppliers. You can never have that certainty that the colors are going to be exact. But it was actually a blessing in disguise for this customer because he liked how the colors gave it an additional color to the building itself. So not only do you have the black accents, the trim work, but you have the bronze doors that give it that offset to the bronze.
To the bronze. Well, to the burnished slate.
Yeah, to the burnished slate. Sorry about that.
Yeah, and that is something to really keep in mind. Your doors are not going to match. Even if you get a black, it's not going to match this, the trim or the sheet metal colors. They're just different suppliers that use different paint codes. They're still black or there's brown, but they're not going to match. So just keep that in mind. But one thing you can definitely do is these can be painted. So you can paint them at a later date. I know our client, that white door, he's going to be painting it. He was telling me that he's already got it locked in. He's going to have one of his buddies come in and paint and really match to get the color of this. So it's more for that steel door. So just keep in mind, you can always paint it your own color at a later date. So.
All right, so Adbeel, so on these doors here, of course, you got the trim work, which is always the eyebrows of the building, right? The attention to detail. But I know we're actually doing something a little bit different with our trim work. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yes, so you're going to be seeing something different. This is what we do for our weld-up buildings, okay? At this point, it's only for our weld-up buildings. We basically have a trim that's coming in from behind a panel, and this is, again, flashing. This is the trim here. We're talking about getting water away and obviously for aesthetics. But the top part, we're trying to get water away. So we actually have, and you can show a little bit of the diagram, the design we're doing. And basically the water is moving forward and then kicking out to the outside. So we're doing that on all our doors and windows, and we have it on here, and it's just, I don't know, I like beating water to get it out of a metal building, especially little details like that. It's just spectacular. So I love that J trim that we're now using. Another thing that I also wanted to mention is to make a building, and I know I might go into too much in depth, but to make a building, like especially trims are what makes a building stand out, okay? But another thing is having the less seams you have is better in my opinion. And so what I mean by seams is, for example, if you show some of the drone shots for when a corner trim, if it's like 16-foot tall building, a lot of the commercial lengths that you just go and you just pick up a trim, that stock is going to be like 10. So sometimes you'll see like 2 trims like where you create a seam and you can see that, you know, and it still looks good. But if you want to make it look great, it's you custom order it. It's going to cost a little bit more, but it's just less seams, makes a, especially metal work, a lot better where you don't have a lot of seams. Does that make sense?
Yeah, again, you have the good, better, best, right? And there's nothing like seamless, but whenever you have something, maybe as long as this may be, you may have a seam, but you want to limit them as much as possible. There could be, for example, places that have them already in 10-foot increments. So guess what? Now you have multiple seams, especially for 100-foot long. But here, we try to minimize that as much as possible. So again, it makes it seamless, makes it look cleaner. And then things like, for example, what he just mentioned about the trim. To me, it's the attention to detail of foreseeing things that could happen when it starts raining, right? It's that trim work that you do now, but to give the customer pretty much something that he wasn't even expecting until he actually sees it, right? So those attention to details are things that we strive for just to make sure that we're solving problems before they even happen. Like I had mentioned before, the biggest enemy to any construction is water, right?
Water. The reason I was remembering about this, wanted to talk about it, is because I've been ordering materials. Like I've been involved a little bit in that process, trying to see, put in a little bit of my knowledge to try to figure out ways to be more efficient, more effective. And I was thinking, man, like I've seen some other builds, and it's like, I know there's commercial ends, but we do everything custom specifically to minimize seams, just because we love how it looks. So.
Yeah. Now another beauty of the building department really getting involved with, again, the masonry that's going to happen. That's one thing that Adbeel was mentioning in regards to the downspout. So instead of it going all the way down, again, our building department getting involved, asking the questions, they went ahead and kicked that out. So not only do you have this, right, now you have the space that the masonry people can actually go ahead and put that brickwork that he's going to be doing. So that adjustment, you know, necessarily doesn't have to be made after now that it's done.
Alrighty guys, so we're not going to access the inside. Our client already has personal stuff, and we're going to respect his privacy. But we were here 3 days ago, so Eric, show them the B-roll right now. It's spectacular. The black framing on the inside, especially reflected with the white fiberglass, that's spectacular. It's my favorite part.
Yeah, once I saw those pictures, honestly, I was taken away by those pictures, because you walk into a building and you have that just traditional red iron look, but the moment that that's painted and it offsets that fiberglass, honestly, it was a feeling when looking at those pictures. I was like, okay, I wish this was my building. Yeah,
that's exactly it. And actually, when we were talking with our client, he's like, that was amazing, because I think he said, I was speaking with my wife about that, and she said, why are you doing that? And then after they got it all done, the wife, I believe the wife said, oh, okay, I get it. Yeah, it's beautiful, you know, it's great. And I love that. So just the black with the white reflected fiberglass makes this look spectacular. Now, stick around, because we're going to be talking about fiberglass versus spray foam. But here, one of the things I love about a shop, especially with fiberglass, is that how it just reflects very open, and then also it still gives you a really good insulation, especially for a shop. Yeah. So it's beautiful. What do you think about that?
No, like when you're tossing up ideas about spray foam versus the actual fiberglass itself, it's really the balance between wants and needs at the same time too. I know fiberglass is a great solution to a shop, you know, details like that, and then spray foam can be a little bit more like living space, and you can always paint it to get that accent. But fiberglass for a shop like this, honestly, it fit like a glove. It was perfect. Yeah.
Alrighty guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this project. I know it's very spectacular, and I hope it gives you guys ideas. I know our client, we were just hanging out with him for about 30 minutes to an hour before shooting this content. And he said he would use our videos to really grab, you know, bits and pieces of each project and really understand what he really wanted based on that wish list. So I hope this video gave you ideas. Any last final comments you might have, Ernesto?
If you guys have something in mind, you can always give the sales team a call. We'll definitely put all their information here down below. But again, you have that wish list, just contact us. We'll definitely help you out, guide you through the process, and make it happen for you, just like we did for this customer.
Talking about our client, stay tuned, because we're about to do an interview where we're asking him questions about his whole process. That way, maybe it gives you a different perspective. So stay tuned for that. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one.